All right, we are live. Nancy Ward. She's a financial coach. I actually met her networking. And hilariously enough, this took us forever. Would you agree to try to go live and figure this thing out? We tried to go in your group, but it didn't work. So we're here. Nancy, tell everybody a little bit about you, my friend. I know we're just started working together with a project on LegalShield, and we'd love people to know about you.
Well, thank you so much, Kai. My name is Nancy Ward. I'm a financial coach. I have been doing coaching for about 3 years now, just part-time. And over the last year, I decided to take my business full-time. One of the things that happened in my life, I was just done with my job. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I just quit. And everybody was like, what job do you have next? I'm like, I don't have one. I just don't. So they were all in shock, but I'm like, I'm done. I'm stressed out. I can't do this anymore. But anyways, at the time, earlier that year, my mom had a few things that happened. She went to the hospital. She was doing okay, but she was 85. And later on that year, back maybe about August, she was back in the hospital. And unfortunately, her lung cancer went to stage 4 and went to the hospital and basically never came home. And one of the things that I did with my brother while I was there is I realized that there's a lot of things, we had to go get the power of attorney, the healthcare power of attorney, and the resuscitation, all of those important legal documents we had to go get. So she told us where they were. She was still coherent, and we got it. And then I was sitting here talking to my brother. I'm like, I know that I'm payable upon death for this bank account, but what about the other things? And so we started looking around and going, oh my gosh, there's a few things that mom didn't, make us beneficiaries for. And, you've heard horror stories about probate. So I said, okay, I'm just going to, we're going to look through everything. I'm going to get it taken care of and so forth. And my brother's like, perfect, because you're the one that's detailed oriented and everything. And through this experience, unfortunately, she did pass away. I mean, I'm so happy for her that she had 85 years on this earth,
Right.
And she was a smoker since age 14 when she could actually buy her own cigarettes. So, I mean, you kind of sit there and go, well, that's kind of what happened, Mom. You eventually it caught up with you, but she actually did stop smoking right around the pandemic. Anyways, just having these conversations with people and realizing all of these things that I didn't even know that I needed to have. And I've talked to a few people within my financial coaching business, and they're like, oh yeah, I don't have a will. I was like, oh my gosh, seriously, you don't have a will? How do you not have a will? And when I met Kai at one of the networking groups, I had thought about LegalShield for a while. I was like, well, I could really use their service on some things. And I should have done it before I went to probate, but I went through probate all by myself because we had figured all of this stuff out ahead of time. But I realized after talking to some people, they're like, oh, I don't have a will. I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't have a will? And and when Kai told me about the program, I said, wait a minute. I know how much lawyers cost per hour. I've went through a divorce myself. Thank you very much. But I could set up my whole, I do have a will, by the way, but I thought, wow, I'm talking to people about their finances and how to save their finances and their legacy. I even have I made a pre-estate planner.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I'm not a lawyer. I can't do estate planning. I'm at a point in my life, I don't want to go to more education and learn a new skill and be qualified and certified. But I thought, at least if I give my clients some information ahead of time to say, hey, find out the beneficiaries and things like that. And then when LegalShield came along, I said, oh my gosh, this is a great partner, because I can talk to my clients and say, you really want to have that legacy for people? You might want to think about the LegalShield, because I'm new to this, Kai. So, help me out if I
Right.
something wrong. But, for $29.95 a month, I have access to a lawyer anytime for within reason, a few, specific things. But one of the services is that you get to get your will, your power of attorney, your healthcare power of attorney, any kind of power of attorney, your living will, all these different things for one cost. It's not like $400 here, $700 here, $300 here. It is $29.95 a month It's like, wait a minute. And you know me as a financial coach, I like a deal.
Yeah.
So I
Well, you
right. So
brought
I
up a
thought, well,
couple things.
how can I not help other people? So I'm sorry about that.
No, I was gonna say I love your passion, and when we met, I just thought we got to be able to work together because you are so wonderful. I know you have a real heart for helping your clients, and there was a hole in the practice that this could fill. And we had a lot in common. My mother passed without her estate planning instruments, caused a lot of havoc. I was grateful for the dollar a day plan because then I was able to get a probate attorney at a discount. I was able to ask all kinds of questions like, is this a taxable event? It was out of state. What are the rules? How does it work? It was invaluable. Had I been paying out of pocket for that, it would have cost me thousands more. And I
Yes.
love that how you talked about how this is a great vertical for a lot of people, whether they're a financial coach. What about a divorce coach, an insurance agent? These are great verticals. But I was going to show, because you did it perfectly, I was going to show real quickly if I can figure it out. We've had a lot of technical things here that I thought were interesting. But this is oversimplified what we're able to provide for folks. And did you want to go ahead and highlight those real quick?
Uh, sure. Like I said, the life events of the will and the living trust, the traffic tickets. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I probably could have used LegalShield last year. I had a little small fender bender that I, now my insurance went up, so woohoo, exciting for me. Civil trial defense, I haven't gotten any information about that. I'm luckily not in that situation. Tax audit assistance, oh my gosh, I do my own taxes, by the way. I do it on TurboTax, so you never know if the tax man comes calling, but now I know that I've got LegalShield to help me out. The 25% discount, that is really great. I've actually on day 2 or 3 of me signing up with LegalShield, I already contacted the lawyer that I have on my app, which is awesome. And with the app, you can just take a picture of your documents and communicate with them and wonder. I'm like, wow, how cool is it to say I have a lawyer in my back pocket, literally.
Right? I love that. We say, if you have a problem, tap the app. You brought up something else, like stuff that happens all the time. Like, somebody hit my parked car. So we use it for a lot for insurance issues. And the other insurance company tried to lowball me. Well, I had access to an attorney and they helped me ghostwrite an email and I got an extra $17,000. That's the power of knowing what to say and having an attorney, like you said, in your back pocket. And then she said, don't sign anything because we also do contracts reviewed. So when I got my final settlement, because I agreed to the extra 17,000, but when I sent it over to her, she found that they were trying to stick me with the DMV $271 transfer fee. But I wouldn't have seen that. So, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any, and I don't know what I'm looking for. I was just excited to get $17,000 more. I would have signed it. So I saved myself right there, $271.
And the funny thing is that it just came in my head because this is exactly what situation I'm in. With my financial coaching, I'm going to be like that lawyer, like nitpicking and looking through all of your numbers to say, hey, you need to do this and you need to do this. And, I actually had a client who's like, oh yeah, I sold my car, or, whatever the thing was. I was like, did you take the insurance off? She's like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. So I'm like that nitpicker lawyer, but except for it's your financial, but you're exactly right. It's like, leave it to the experts. You don't know what you don't know. Have them review even simple documents. It's up to 15 pages per document. So shoot. And if it's after 15 pages, you get that 25% off discount. So, who doesn't want a discount on a lawyer?
And I've had to use that discounted rate only twice. And I've been a member for well over like about 25 years. I've only had to use it twice because if you know what you're getting into, what you're signing, what you're doing, you're probably going to not need a lot much more. So one was the probate. Right. And then another one was surrounding a legal situation with my mom's estate as well. So, it happens, and it's better to get a vetted attorney that's, has quite 20 years of experience, that doesn't have any issues with the American Bar Association. You don't have to try to Google it, figure out who's good, especially if it's out of state. And then that 25% discount, I saved $500, which paid for that membership for like a year and a half. It was pretty incredible. But like a divorce, I always say, love is grand. Divorce is 10 grand. How would you like to save 25% off the top? Right? Like, you're going to have to pay 10 grand anyway. You might as well save a little $2,500, right?
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. And it's nice because LegalShield does do that. They can do domestic things, adoptions and divorces. Within the first, you have to be, I believe, you have to be in the system for at least 90 days. But again, if you've been having LegalShield for 2 or 3 years and life happens and you go through the situation, again, you got it in your back pocket.
Yeah, I always say it's a little like AAA, right? You're not going to get a flat every month. You're not going to, have an issue every month, but it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And I was going to show you, we also get great discounts. So I don't know, Nancy, if you've had a
Oh,
chance to use
yes.
those.
Yes, I have to tell you that story. Oh, before that, I told you I like a deal. Shoot, we were just talking about something. Oh my gosh, I wanted to see
discounts.
AAA, yes. Okay. So that's what I was thinking the other day. I said, how many of us pay for roadside assistance or even health insurance or things like that? That again, for $1 a day, I've got basically lawyer insurance. I mean, that's just so cool. But I want to tell you, I again, the part of me being a LegalShield associate is that I signed up to get the LegalShield coverage because, of course, why wouldn't I want it? Because that's the whole reason why I'm in the business. And I got the member perks. I got some emails. And just the other day, I got something from Sam's Club. They're like, how about $25 off your membership? I was like, I've been thinking about a Sam's Club membership. I just saved myself $25.
That's so funny because I always say for $1 a day, if you're using your member perks, it doesn't even cost, it'll pay.
Yeah.
We've got Disneyland. So for instance, I save $10 a month on my Verizon and I'm going to our home office for a women's kind of takeover of the home office in August. And I had to rent a rental car because our home office is in Ada, Oklahoma. I should show you where that is. And it's just beautiful. It's so homespun, been around forever. But I saved $10 off my $8 off my rental car for 4 days of a rental car. So that paid for my legal plan for the whole month right there. I mean, it adds up. But I love it. That's our home office, by the way. We've been around since 1972, so over 53 years old. We have all these members that are willingly paying for the membership without a contract. So I think that's important too, don't you? That we're not like your gym membership, lock you in for a year or something, right?
Well, right. I mean, it's like I pay for Aflac for me and my kids, and it costs more than LegalShield. And when was the last time I used Aflac? I don't, but I do. I can send in for like a $60, refund or whatever. Like because I'm on the plan, that if I fill out the information and go to a well check visit, I get $60 a year. But I'm paying like almost $50 a month for Aflac, and if my kids don't get in an accident and go to the emergency room, I'm paying for nothing. At least with LegalShield, there's so many different things, and on top of that, with the will, if something happens in the next year, every year they'll take a look at it for you for free because that's part of the deal. So it's like, this is a no-brainer. Just have, it's better than Netflix. Sorry.
You brought up some funny things because think about it. If Aflac didn't want to do the right thing, and I don't know that they would or wouldn't, but just saying like you're paying for something like your television, your cell phone, your insurance, auto, health, whatever it is, and let's just say they don't want to do the right thing, who do you have to call? An attorney.
Right. But it's like, right? Again, who wants to pay $300 an hour just to say, hey, I'm not happy with Verizon and how they charged me? You're right. I'm paying $1 a day.
Because you're just the little guy going up against these big companies and they know it and they don't care. So having that legal muscle of an attorney to write a letter, make a phone call on your behalf can really level that legal playing field. So I always say, we're paying into all these subscriptions all the time, right?
Yeah.
And then if you misbehave, they've got attorneys. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. Right? And fees,
if they misbehave,
late fees and all the other jibber jabber.
Right. But if they misbehave, we don't have attorneys unless we're paying for something like this. So I think it's just super, super smart. And then you also mentioned how if you get your, your healthcare directive, your joint power of attorney, your living will, and all these documents put together, your will, at least where I live, I know you Googled it. Where I live, I'm in Silicon Valley, so everything's really expensive. It's about $1,200. Yeah. So I always say, if you get your will done, you paid for it for, a few years right there. And if you did your updates, it would cover it every single year. You'd be ahead for like a decade, right? So how much did you say they were in your area?
About 300 to 400. Yeah, because even my bank is giving me that. Hey, here's a 25% off on will and trust. But again, it's piecemeal. It's not you know a combo deal. So you got to pay for each one of them individually, and they were ranging anywhere from $200 to $500 for each of those: a will and a living trust and a power of attorney. It was a la carte. This is not a la carte. This is, like you said, a buck a day.
And you've been a member for a very short period of time. You already used the perks. You've already done a couple intakes. That's amazing. What we didn't mention is we do have a second
Yes.
app that I thought I would just share because it does go hand in glove with financial services. So let's say you get your finances back on track. You want to make sure it's like you work with Nancy and get that done. You want to make sure that your credit is being monitored so that if anything does happen again and it wasn't you work so hard, right, to get that credit score back up where you and Nancy, we want to make sure you keep it protected. So we will monitor things that matter, including social media, including passport, driver's license, all those things. And then what's really cool is if something does happen that's not you, we give our members a licensed private investigator that will do the work on their behalf. So they sign a limited power of attorney. We can go work with some of these entities. We can't do everything, right, Nancy? Like you'd have to go to a police station and fill out a police report and all that stuff. And then we're available 24/7 in case of emergencies. And then we'll reimburse because a lot of times those people will have legal issues as well, need a letter written by an attorney. So that's why they go hand in glove. But if you had to hire one, maybe someone did a crime in your name, we would reimburse up to $3 million. And one of the things that I really love is we partnered with Trend Micro. So included in the program for $19.95 per person, they'll get anti-malware, a VPN proxy one that encrypts their information on risky Wi-Fi, and a password manager. And did you know if you bought those separately, like you're talking about how you can piecemeal things, it'd be $10 for the VPN proxy one, $10 for the password manager. Well, shoot, we do everything I just described for $19.95.
Right.
And like for Nancy, with kids, we cover the kids up to the age of 26, never married, full-time college students up to the age of 26, never married, one child legal guardian for the age of 18. We just can't monitor past age 18, but they would be on the plan for not, $19.95 for Nancy, $19.95 for her son, $19.95 for the daughter. It'd be all $34.95, which is a great savings as well.
Yeah. And
So
especially
Nancy,
with them just, like my daughter being 18 and now she's out in the world and her name's going to get on all these different lists. And if she gets a credit card and, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And they do a little bit of credit counseling and education, which isn't in competition with you at all, which I think is great too. So, quite frankly, I'm sure some credit repair companies are good. I haven't seen very many of them. I've seen my members use LegalShield against credit repair companies. So between Nancy and your legal plan, you're probably not going to need much more than that, right?
Right.
So with you, just really quickly, so that's Nancy's LegalShield website. So nancyward.legalshieldassociate.com. In closing, do you want to share anything about your, services that you offer and what they can get at your store there?
Yeah. So again, I am a financial coach. So in my store, I've got a freebie. So if you're looking just to get started and you're like, how do I get out of debt, or how do I manage my finances? There is a freebie there that you can take a look at and just get some general information. It's about eight or so pages, give you some ideas, and actually starts you on a goal plan. So, you want to get started there because you definitely want to think about where does my money want to go. I also have workshops and some boot camps available. So if you're thinking about it going, oh my gosh, how do I figure this all out? Just take a look at my store. You have some resources there, and you can actually contact me as well through Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Weekly Debt Plan. And if you go to any of the social medias, that's my handle, is Weekly Debt Plan. And I'm here to help people. And that's my passion, is because I've been there before. I've been in debt. I didn't want to do it again after I was after my divorce. So that's my passion, is to help people, save money and also, have the life they want to live with the finances that, can really help them in their life.
Doesn't this just go so well together? Because think
Oh
about
yeah.
it. Let's say bankruptcy is the appropriate instrument for them. Now they have a legal plan where they can get at least a discount and do things like that. So, you're giving them this full wall of protection when it comes to their finances. So, I
Right.
love what you're up to. We also have something here where you can be appointed with us, be an associate like you are as well. So reach out to Nancy if you're in her group right now to find out about that, because maybe a little extra money a month, even an extra $500 a month, might help knock down that debt a little bit. Would you agree?
Oh yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So if you've got a full-time job and you want a little bit of a side hustle to help knock down that debt a little bit faster, and you're working with Nancy, reach out to her. Our affiliate marketing program is only $49, and it allows you to get paid a 1-year advance commission plus residuals on all the memberships you write. And you can build an agency. So not a bad deal to be able to put that in your will.
I know,
And
that was so
you
exciting
did.
to see that. I was like, wow, I can't believe this is something that's actually willable. A
I love
business
it.
that has a beneficiary.
Yeah, you couldn't will your job to your kids, right?
No kidding.
So reach out to Nancy. Let me throw up her website again. So nancyward.legalshield.com, and reach out to her, ask questions. If you're not affiliated with Nancy and you just saw this on my page and you've got questions, reach out to me. We can answer those as well. But with that, Nancy, is there anything else you want to mention before we call it good?
No, I appreciate your time, Kai. You are a wonderful mentor, and I'm so glad I finally made the decision to do this, and to be to have such a great manager like yourself. It's your support is just beautiful. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm excited about working with you as well. And so with that, take care, take charge. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks. Goodbye.